Hello everyone, I want to welcome you on our program Thoughts on Education. And today we have with us Dr. Preeti Bajaj, who is the Vice Chancellor of Galgotias University. And we are here to bridge the gap between the students and the top management of such universities. So, very welcome, Dr. Preeti Bajaj, ma'am.
Thank you, Girik. So, at the same time, kudos to your efforts and team's efforts for bringing and bridging this gap between the students and teachers and the institutions as well, all over Pan India. So, coming to yes, I have taken over as a Vice Chancellor of Galgotias University on 2nd of December 2019. It's just 9 months and few days I have completed over here in NCR. This is my first job. Prior to this, I have completed total 30 years of in education sector since 1991. 24th July 1991, I started my career in education field. Immediately within 3 days of my graduation, and thereafter I did my ME for maybe in between 1.5 year, and we used to have 1.5 year ME, and then PhD in 2004, and I was all the time head of the department and have led the institution which is NAAC certified, NIRF ranked, NBS accreditation, and also very active volunteer of IEEE, which is known as Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineer, world's apex body in the field of technical education, which sets up all the norms. So you find this Wi-Fi technology, every technology and norms standards are devised by IEEE USA. So I'm a volunteer at all level, right from local till international level. I'm very active volunteer and believes in students innovation, students empowerment, and entrepreneurship. So these are the 3 words, and which I have believed throughout my life, and always being surrounded with and followed by n number of my students who are from India to every corner of the world. So that's about me. So I believe in student-driven activities in the campus. That's only people know me for what I am.
Oh, I'm really lucky to have you having this conversation with me, because you have been in this sector way before that I was born, way before that time. So let's start with my first question now.
Yes.
So you have held key positions at education institutes throughout your professional career. So what are the key factors that keep you connected with the education sector?
Okay, so I believe always, and which I said at various platforms, teaching is a mission and not profession. When you say teaching is a mission and not profession, so that's only the factor which connected me all around my life with education sector. And coming to how and what post I have handled. So it really doesn't matter to me. Whatever, I was lecturer, I was assistant professor, I was professor, I was head of the department, I was principal, I was director, I was group director, I was acting vice chancellor, and now full-time vice chancellor over here. Still, this sentence which I have seen and read somewhere, I will never forget. That's my lifeline, that it's a mission. And shaping the young generation, shaping their future. So your small decision can affect everyone's life, and not the life of the students, but their future as well. And if you have a good decision, and if you are visionary, you can change again, and it will reflect in your students' activities. So that's how I believe in.
That was very touching, man. And so moving on to my next question. Being the Vice Chancellor of Galgotias University, what is your philosophy of leadership, and how would you describe your leadership style?
Student-centric, digitally driven, and connect at all levels to bring the transparency, So I have been known for breaking the barriers. I have been known to be very transparent. So I try to do the same. The philosophy for leadership is set the example by doing the things. So I work myself. I am active, I would say, 24/7. So I ensure that my team also works and address to each and every complaint of students and grievance of the student. The philosophy for leadership, I would say, any organization, if it has to grow, we have to think out of box. We have to provide the platform to every stakeholder to have this happen. So innovation, entrepreneurship, and research, these are the three keywords which wherein I wanted to lead, and I wanted I believe every organization would lead in coming years. And that's how we have taken up many new initiatives so that this really happens.
That inspires a lot, ma'am. So next, moving on. Being the Vice Chancellor of Galgottias University, how do you strategize about the key programs and plans for the marketing and administration of the university?
So for administration, coming to the administration, I believe the ERP and to be, as I said, digitally driven. So today's youth, you take him from from a teenage till graduation, everybody is available on smart mobile, or the digitally he or her presence is always there in some of the media. Maybe it is social media, or maybe it is on WhatsApp. So basically, I would say, if you can digitize your processes, if those are available with the students, and that would bring transparency, and that would bring good governance as well. I would say good governance rather than administration. Second, the marketing. I would say, if your stakeholders are happy, then you do not require artificial measures for any marketing, because ultimately you are doing for them. So if they are happy, if there is good governance, if finally they are all placed, so they are your brand ambassadors. You don't require any artificial marketing. So we don't do marketing our placements. The Galgottias placement, Galgottias is known for its placement, Galgottias is known for its academics and for their robust examination system. And now a lot of e-governance is taking place, and we are reaching out to every class representative, every student. So this is our marketing plan, nothing else. So that's it from my side.
Very well explained. And so let us move to the curricular of the Galgottias University. So can you tell us that how does the curriculum of Galgottias University ensure the best practice in the industry?
So this year we have brought in a lot of changes. The National Education Policy has been recently released. But prior to that, in January, when we revised our syllabi, so the complete curriculum has university core, and you won't believe, we have all schools have ensured that artificial intelligence to be part of. Doesn't matter which program they are into, sociology, or they are into maybe agricultural, or they are into media. So all that, whatever has been asked in National Education Policy, is already part of my curriculum. So the liberal arts, the creative arts, the artificial intelligence, data science, the multidisciplinary approach, interdisciplinary approach, all that is part of. And every board of studies of every school has not only one but 3 industry people. So industry is an integral part of our board of studies, which takes stand on what is to be included, what is to be removed and become obsolete, and what are the latest industry trends, what kind of practical exposure to be given, and what are the skill set to be introduced in this curriculum. So, and then apart from that, for academics, like as government has allowed, so within that permissible limit, we have the students have done Coursera, the MOOCs are being followed. Not only nationally, but international standards are being followed. The complete academics is governed by outcome-based education process. That's the philosophy which is being followed all over the world. And Galgottias claim that we are the first in the country to follow outcome-based education, not only in engineering, but we are doing for all across all the schools. So that's our philosophy, outcome-based education.
I would like to say that Calcutta University has been prepared long before for this.
Yes.
Yes. So my next question. So as in India, we know that there has been a history of discrimination and the kind of things. And so can you give us any insights on how your institute can be more welcoming to the students of different races and economic backgrounds?
Okay. So there is a strong, robust system internally in the university. First of all, coming to the economics background, if you will say, so the most affordable education which is being offered at Galgottias. So if you can look at the fee structure of most of the universities and the universities of our cadre, you will find the most economical study, the fees which we are offering. Honorable Chancellor and CEO, the whole team works for that. The education has to be affordable. That's the first principle which we are working. Coming to we have students at international students, more than maybe 700, 800 international students are there from every caste, religion, and then background. We ensure that there is a team of teachers and students, that international cell has been created wherein we groom them, we ensure them at the very first day, and we have started a bridge course very recently wherein we teach them Hindi so that they are, when they are in India, so they need to learn Hindi. So and then so Hindi and English, these are the two languages, because many are from the countries wherein English is also not being known. So to make them feel that they are in India and they need to be connected well with the local people, we have started these two courses. We are reaching out to them, not only to these students, but for our own students as well, to avoid these issues. All support in terms of scholarship, in terms of medals, in terms of benefits and social benefits. And not only that, we have created 32 almost social clubs and societies in the campus. If the students are engaged in the society activities, if they are engaged into literary activities, if they are engaged into extracurricular and co-curricular activities, probably these things will not come in their mind. So basically, this is to, we have ensured that student council drives all these activities. So it is, I would say, the university is run by the students. All student affairs are run by the students for the students. So this is being taken care of. So to make them, if the support system is not there, probably they look into various issues. Why this has happened? What is the issue? Why I have been deprived of? And is there any social stigma for which I have been denied? But then it is open door. We may reject any other application, but we will never reject students' request on organizing some activity to support them at any level. So that's how we deal with the students.
That is very, very good, ma'am. Because once, like you make, like you're saying, you make students feel like they're at home. They are a family. So this leaves no point of discrimination at all, and very inspiring. So let's moving on towards. So let's know more about you. And so, can you tell us about what, according to you, are your roles and responsibilities towards the institute and towards the students?
Okay. So roles and responsibility, probably anything and everything has to be there with the Vice Chancellor of any university. So I cannot define, but especially, yes, to empower staff and students, to make the policies, to make their vision broad, would be my main responsibility, I would say. I came from a very I won't say I came from, but I have developed very open system of education in my previous organizations. I believe in for that, and I would say I dream for the same over here, that it is going to be a very open education system wherein students would be given in true sense choice, what you want to learn, how you want to learn, in what way you want to be examined, and how you wanted to be assessed, and then finally, so it's kind of platter, what you want. The platter is served to you, so it is known as CBCS, choice based credit system, which is my next project, wherein the students, if you want to learn extra, you will be there, the facilities would be there. So fast learner, slow learner, dual major, dual minor, lot of experiments, joint degree, all that is there for students. And to facilitate same, all my efforts, the team's efforts, the university effort would be there. So I cannot define my roles and responsibility in one word, but anything and everything, that is what is coming to my mind right now.
Okay, well said. So, what do you think that should be the top priority of the university in the upcoming 10 years?
So, as I said, when we are an Indian university, so I would say the first thing comes to ethics and value education, holistic development of the student. So it's an all-round development of the students. And then the three words which are going to drive the whole world in next 10 years is creativity, innovation, research, and I would say skill now. These four words, skilling, creativity, innovation, and research, would be the one which would drive for next 10 years. And that is going to be the university's priority as well.
Okay. So, ma'am, when you first came to the Galgotias University, what was your vision for the university, and has it evolved over the time? And how have you been implementing your vision?
So, the vision of university is again to be known for globally. And what I said is really a vision of the university. I need not to felt like I have to adopt it, because it was within me as well. The vision of university was to be known globally for value-based education, research, creativity, and innovation. I believe to have, along with this, the strong ecosystem for internship and entrepreneurship as well, in addition to these three words. When I say value-based education, research, creativity, innovation, all that would lead to students should have hands-on practice through internship, and then all that I believe in Startup India and entrepreneurs, maybe social entrepreneurs, and the business models as well. So when I came, it was the same vision. Now for that, I have started certain activities like the strong ecosystem for research. We are taking weekly reviews. We are ensuring that students are also engaged in research. We have supported students' initiatives for innovation, and very recently, last couple of months back, we have started e-sale as well. So entrepreneurship, that is what we are promoting. We are setting every 15 days, fortnight, we are having some lectures wherein inspiring talks, wherein students can come out with, that yes, this can be a change maker. This was the change which somebody has done. Doesn't matter he was of the age of 18 or 20. So such role models we are bringing for them, and I'm sure very soon you will find. And right now there is an ecosystem for startups. But through this, we are trying to bring social entrepreneurs as well. So social side of the country, that some small change. We want the startups to work for India and not the startups to work for, So we are trying to create ecosystem for Indians, and that would be the startup can work globally, but the customers could be for India, and then we have 130 crores available market space for them. So that is how we have started working as well. So when I came, I came with the same vision, and I'm still working on the same vision, Girik. That I would like to say.
That is amazing, and I hope this thing inspires the students. Like as PM Modi also is working on the Make in India program, and I hope it contributes. And so my next question is that what would you like to tell the people? Would you like to tell something to the people that they might not know about the university?
So the very first thing, as I said, I will just sum up for all the points which have been said so far. We are the university which is most affordable, technology driven, digital university, most modern university, and along with that, every student is assured for the placement what they wanted, and and not only national but international placements as well. The university is the one which has set up many center of excellence, which will give the students exposure of the industries, and the strong HR which we have. The best of best human resources are there to teach them, to take them in the journey of the most beautiful journey of their 3 years or 4 years of tenure, wherein they wanted to do everything, and they are so energetic to support them and their dreams. We have a strong team, so that's the message I wanted to give them, that come, explore, experience, and adopt and become the part of this global university. That's it.
So my final question to you, ma'am, are there any suggestions that you would like to give to the current youth and the aspiring students?
I would say the three things, always believe in yourself. That's my first message, that believe in yourself. Everybody has something good in him or her. So only thing is the teachers can do now a job of, to give that self-realization what is good in you. We believe that, I strongly believe that everybody has unique qualities. Now, sometimes we don't realize that what's good in myself. And that is a beautiful journey to explore yourself. So think out of box. Don't follow others. Follow your dreams. Follow what you want to do, and think and dream high. That's what I would say. If you won't dream, probably you won't like to realize your dreams, and then nothing is going to happen. So it is very, very essential that everyone to dream, to think high, and then to put in all efforts to achieve that goal. That's the only message I would like to give at this point. Thank you so much, Girik, for giving me opportunity to reach out all my youths.
Thank you very much for connecting with us, ma'am. This program was brought to you by collegedunia.com and our program Thoughts on Education. And I personally feel I was lucky enough to take your interview on this, because it inspired me a lot. The things you said, the messages you gave. So I really felt lucky to be here. So thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Girik. Thank you. Bye-bye.